Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bitter Rivals, episode 80. 80, as in 20 away from 100.
That's nuts.
That's crazy to think about. That's absolutely insane to think about. Lots of hockey to talk. We got women's under 18 tournaments that a 14-year-old is absolutely cooking right now. We have Leafs played 5 games in their last 8 days. Habs have a couple more injuries. We got lots of stuff going. So let's get right to it. Last night, the Leafs played the Boston Bruins, which obviously is a benchmark game. That's something where that's a game where you're going to measure yourself up against your best competition. I think we can agree the Boston Bruins are the best team in the NHL this year.
Yeah, I don't think there's much competition there, no.
They've lost literally 5 games at home. Or five games in regulation, sorry. They've only lost once in regulation at home. Though we're over halfway through the season. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is just ridiculous.
Yeah, they're operating at a completely different level right now. But last night, the Leafs really did give them a run for their money. I thought it was a good game. Obviously, you want to win. But even though we didn't, there were some things that I saw happening that made me happy. So let's start with Pierre Engvall throwing bodies around, which is something he does not do. We've talked about this at length on this show. He does not throw the body around. He's 6'5", 220, skates like the wind, and does not forecheck. It's painful. But last night he did, and he also went end-to-end and ripped one on Vezina candidate Linus Ullmark. Absolutely end-to-end. I've never seen that out of Pierre Engvall, ever. It was awesome. So that happened. Matthews had... Did you see that goal?
Bro, that's filthy.
That's a Rocket Richard Trophy winner's goal right there, is what that is.
Like when I saw, because I didn't see it happen like live, or I didn't see the replay. I saw one of the slow-mos, and I see him like walk around the 2 guys, and he's pulling it like, oh, he's gonna like rip it short side or like far side on him, and then he just puts it fucking right upstairs. Like, oh,
like top bins. There is no better way to describe top bins than that play by Auston Matthews. So that was a big one. Obviously, you hate to see giving up a goal like they did in the final 2 minutes, because it was 2-2. You lose the game 3-2. Or was it 4-3?
4-3.
I think it was 4-3. I think it was 4-3. You're right there. So, and you know what? All of the goals were on terrible giveaways, right? You had one from Morgan Riley. You had one from Connor Timmins. And I hate to say it, but the captain on the last goal is entirely at fault. Murray made some 10-bellers. There was also a couple of goals that went in that you probably want him to have. There was one that was just a simple odd man rush, 3-on-2. Guy rips a shot from above the circles, does not leave the ice. You're going to want to save there, right? Like, you can't let that slip under your pad. The Pastrnak goal. I get it. You're expecting him to pass because he's not even looking at you. He's looking at the guy that he's making you think he's passing to. But you cannot commit that hard to the pass when David Pastrnak is coming in on you in a 2-on-1. That's just horrible decision making.
Yeah.
Like, David Pastrnak has been one of the best goal scorers in the league this year. To give him
just this year, the last couple of years.
Yes, he's one of the best goal scorers in the league. Let's just leave it at that. But you cannot commit to the pass like that when a guy like him is bearing down on you. You just can't. He was completely out of position for that goal. That's 2 goals. If those 2 goals don't go in, the Leafs win the hockey game, right? Yeah. So that was a little bit frustrating. He made absolutely robbed Marchand, I think 5 or 6 times last night. That was great to see, but it doesn't matter if you don't make those saves when you need to. Timely saves as well, right? Yeah, Matthews was out for a couple games, the back-to-backs there. The Nashville-Detroit games earlier in the season. He made his return earlier in the week. He made his return yesterday. So that was good to see. We weren't exactly sure how long that absence was going to be, and we also weren't exactly sure what it was, and we still don't know what it is. Assuming it's something...
Probably the cross-check in the Dallas game earlier this year.
That, or it might be something to do with that wrist of his. Because his shot isn't there. It's just not there. If you watch Leaf games, you can see it. He's got probably the best shot in the world. And wrist shot anyway. Like, yeah, we're not going to take anything away from Obi's clapper or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, if we're talking about a quick release wrist shot, the curl, drag, rip it. That's his patent, and you haven't been seeing it, right? And it shows in the numbers. He's got nowhere near the numbers that he did last year. So he's probably playing through something. If that's something that affects his shot, and if this is something that he's going to have to manage and is going to continue into the playoffs, rest, man. We don't need you. Not that we don't. Obviously, Auston Matthews, you're going to be a better team with him than without him. But we're not catching Boston. Tampa's not catching us. We are finishing in second in the Atlantic. That is it. Like, there is nothing we can do. We are playing Tampa in the first round, and if we win that, we're playing Boston in the second round. That is what is going to happen. So, Auston, if you're not healthy, sit down and get healthy. Seriously, I don't think it's that. We don't need, not that we don't need to win. You obviously want to win, but we don't need points right now.
Yeah, like the long-term benefit of him sitting out outweighs the couple of points that he might win you over that stretch.
Precisely. And I think it's time for him to just take a seat until playoffs, honestly. That's where I'm at with him. If there's something that's going to nag you, don't let that happen. That is totally unnecessary right now. We are not fighting for playoff positioning at all. We're cemented where we are. Just get healthy. That's all I want out of that kid for the playoffs is health. Like, that's it. He's older than me, and I'm calling him a kid, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Sticking in Leafland, there's a little bit of discourse surrounding Morgan Rielly still. He's making it very difficult to defend him as of late, though. We can agree Morgan Rielly's never been the greatest defender. That's not what he's there for. He's a very, very good power play guy. He's also got wheels. Like, he can skate like the wind, too. And coming back from this injury, he's not skating like the wind. And if you take that away from him, there's not a whole lot to be desired, to be completely honest with you. Because those defensive lapses that he has, he makes up for because he can skate, right? He's one of the best skaters in the league. But I don't know.
So what was the injury? Was it lower body or
knee?
Like, give him some time to like get back, because the knee is a weird thing. Like, you're not just going to bounce back from that right away. You're especially at that level. Like,
well, and you're not able to put in the training and the cardio that you need to be in. You need to have in order to be in game shape while you have a knee injury, because you literally can't, right?
Exactly. So he's only been back for like what? Not even 2 weeks now. Came back sometime last week.
Yeah, something about that. Yeah, I believe he was back when we did episode 79. So
like, you're looking at like 7-10 days. That's what, 5-6 games. Like, to make that judgment, be like, oh, like he's a problem. Like, because I've seen that discourse too on the Bitter Rivals Twitter. I've seen people tweeting about it, and it's just like, I don't know how you look at your best defenseman and go, no, we're better without him. It's the same. It's the same as the fucking, what the fuck's his name? I'm forgetting his name. But yeah, like, you can't look at that and be like, yeah, after a couple of games directly coming back from a knee injury.
Oh, Brody, that's who you're thinking of.
Yeah.
And he actually just went back on, I'm not sure if it was LTIR or just IR, but he just got placed on IRs again. So relating to the same oblique injury. But anyway, continue about the Morgan Rielly discourse.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely ridiculous after like 5-6 games to look at your best defenseman just signed up, 8 by 8 something. That's
what's worrisome, though, right? Is he just signed that contract and he's starting to show signs of regression for the first time. That's why it's worrisome.
Okay, but is it real regression, or is it he's coming off an injury? There's going to be a rough patch, and then he's going to get back to that, right? Like, I'd be if this was 3-4 weeks after the injury, I'd be a little worried. But we're talking like 10 days he's been back.
That's fair.
You got to give him that time.
Do you know what doesn't help either? Is like I said earlier, he's not the best defensive guy on the team. We understand that. He's never been that. He makes up for a lot of that by having the ability to skate. But when you pair him with a guy like Connor Timmins, who Connor Timmins has been fantastic. Like, I'm not taking anything away from him, but he's not exactly a defensive stall. He's not Victor Hedman. You know what I mean?
No.
He's not TJ Brody, who is Morgan Riley's regular defense partner, who really does make up for Mo's and allows Mo to activate offensively.
Yeah,
right?
And that's
like have a guy like TJ Brody's, but now if he activates offensively with Connor Timmins back there, generally not going to end well, right?
No.
So, and nothing against Connor Timmins, he's almost a point a game guy since he started playing for the Leafs, but you can't pair him with Morgan Riley. You can't have Connor Timmins playing that many minutes. You just can't. Anyway, that's kind of the situation there on defense. Last night kind of showed also that there are some things that need to, like the bottom six, Sans Engvall. Like I said, Engvall had a great game last night, but the bottom six were atrocious. They got caved in. Absolutely caved in. And that part of that is Pontus Holmberg, who's a rookie and has been very, very, very good. That Swedish, lovely, beautiful man. And Bobby McMahon, who in the Nashville, I think it was the Detroit game, had 100% X goals for, 10-0 chances for while he was on the ice. This is a guy who was playing in his second NHL game. Anyway, him and Holmberg were both sick. Same sickness that Matthews had for the previous two games. So you take those two beauties out of the lineup. Of course it's going to regress. Of course they're going to get caved in by the best team in the league.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing is you were literally playing the best team in the league. Like you were talking about those individual mistakes of every team in the league. You know, the Boston Bruins are the team that are going to make you pay for that every fucking time.
Yep, they just have way too much experience. They just have way too much experience and maturity. There's so much of that in their game, so much structure to their game, and so much like nastiness too. They're a very good hockey team, and I don't think anybody expected this out of them this year. But
no, like I'm not even gonna lie here, Abe. For the last few years, I've been like waiting for the collapse because like all the key veterans have started leaving, and I'm like, any day now it's gonna fucking fall apart and it's gonna be great. And every year they're fucking better and better, and now they're like legitimately the best team in the league, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, like we are Habs and Leaf fans on this podcast. Like I know that those two don't mix, but we do agree on one thing. And it's fuck Boston. That's what we agree on. That's literally the only thing that Habs and Leaf fans can agree on is that the Boston.
There's like a couple little ones in there, like fuck Ottawa, and fuck Winnipeg.
You can agree, Ottawa. Yeah.
But the big one's the Bruins.
Most importantly, the Boston Bruins. We ain't about that. We're just not about that. It's not what we want to talk about. But we have to because they're so damn good right now. And I looked it up again last night. Do you know how mad it made me when I looked up Cap Friendly, Patrice Bergeron?
I have Cap Friendly up right now. I don't want to look because I know it's going to piss me off. He's making probably like what?
0.5. What?
See?
How can he, like, I get it. Nobody gets paid in Boston, and it's been that way for generations. I get it. How is he only making 2.5? He's like one of the best players in the league. He's literally one of the best players in the league.
But here's the thing. He could make, honestly, close to 10 if he wanted to.
Easily. Easily. That's what he should be making.
But the thing is, if especially at his age, he's like, what, 37?
Yeah.
Wants to stay in Boston, wants to try and win in Boston again, then, like, yeah. Like, talk about taking a discount, eh? Fucking.
That's the ultimate discount. And it's interesting because Pasternak's due a contract.
Oh, he is getting paid. Whether it's in Boston or not, don't know yet. But
does anybody get paid in Boston? Does anybody get paid in Boston, Gitano? No. Nobody gets paid in Boston.
I'm trying to think of the last, like, yeah. I know I'm gonna have to look this up now.
Yeah, I know I got you searching. But yeah, and that's going to be like these are going to be the only games that matter for the Leafs moving forward, right? Are your games against Tampa, your games against Boston, your games even against the big shots in the Metro. So we're talking the New Jersey, the Carolina games. Like those are the games that are going to matter. And it's not even a playoff seeding thing. It's literally you just need to benchmark yourself up against these guys because come April, this is who you're going to be playing. So
I think if you look at last night's game, I think that was a good benchmark game for the Leafs. Like it's not, you didn't get destroyed, you didn't get blown out. It was
had a couple leads.
small little mistakes that you need to get out of your game. So yeah, like I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Like I don't think that was a bad game.
Yeah, nothing horribly egregious for sure.
Yeah.
I will say this. We can talk about it at length after we do some Habs, and I think we need to have this conversation again this week. I hate that we have to have it again. This past couple of weeks is this is the worst refereeing I've ever seen in my life. I don't have words sometimes at what, like, I don't know what these guys are watching.
Oh yeah,
and you can say you don't. We'll get to it. You're right.
Yeah,
let's go Habs. Let's do. Let's get to the Habs discourse.
Unfortunately, we have to stay in Boston for a second because I got their cap-friendly page up here.
Okay.
Pass is on 6.6. Obviously done at the end of the year. Marchand's on 6.1. He's got this year and 2 more. Taylor Hall, I don't think he signed this deal in Boston. I think this was traded to them, but he's got 6 for another 2 years. Charlie Coyle is on 5.25 for another 3. They did just sign Pavel Zacha to a 4.75 by 4. That kicks in next summer.
Yeah.
Charlie McAvoy is making 9.5 for longer than Cap Friendly can show right now. So he got paid. Paid.
He's, again, like, he's one of the best. Like, that would be the perfect partner for Morgan Riley right there. That would be.
Yeah, and then Hampus Lindholm's on 6.5 for however many. And Linus Ullmark's on 5 for another 2 years after this season. Yeah, like, then there's not a lot of fucking big contracts here.
No, and they're the best team in the league. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
Let's get to the Habs discourse because there's a couple of things that I need to air. I got some dirty laundry I need to air out here with the refs, man. So let's
Well, I'll keep it pretty brief. Not a lot has happened in Montreal. The injuries are still kind of piling up. Jake Evans went out last night. They obviously haven't put out a statement yet on how long he's out. But I don't know if you saw it. It was pretty nasty in the face-off circle. He was tied up with Brock Nelson, I think. And just kind of the way he fell, he like fell on Jake Evans' like leg, and like kind of Jake Evans like twisted as he went to the ice. And so his leg was like twisted under him and he fell on him. So that was a nasty, nasty one. Brendan Gallagher confirmed out at least 6 weeks, which sucks. The only good news is that Mike Matheson is coming back shortly. He, over the weekend, has been practicing not in a non-contact jersey. So it was just a matter of getting him some reps before he gets back into the lineup. But yeah, kind of a shit week in Montreal. Lost 4-0 to the Kraken. Not great. And then obviously last night losing 2-1 to the Islanders. But on Thursday night, the Canadians honored PK Subban at the Bell Center, which was, I guess, kind of a perfect way to wrap up that era of the Habs. You know, having him come out, give a little speech, just thanked the crowd. Obviously, the organization thanked him for his time in Montreal. Yeah, I think it was the perfect way to kind of put a bow on that. Kind of, because he didn't leave Montreal in the best circumstances, did he? Like, it was pretty ugly when he left. And obviously that was the old management and coaching staff and all that fun stuff. So it was nice that Jeff Molson, you know, wanted to bring him back, kind of water under the bridge, because he's an icon in Montreal right now. Like, he is, you know, he's probably one of the most electrifying players we've ever seen play. Like, I'm not talking just Montreal. I'm talking, like, in my memory, like, very few guys could captivate a crowd the way he did. And I think to that the goal against the Bruins in the playoffs in 2014, out of the penalty box, Deeks Tukaraska out of his jockstrap. Like, that is like that. He was a big time player for big time moments. And yeah, I think it was great that the Habs honored him. Obviously, it was nothing crazy, not like jersey in the rafters or anything, but just, you know, to thank him for his time in Montreal. And then it was capped off with Carey Price coming out for one more 0005. And the image of the two of them walking out down the tunnel together, like I said, perfect kind of way to wrap up that era and move on. And we did end up beating the Predators 4-3, which was great. Our first win in God knows how long. But yeah, that's basically it in Montreal. Yeah, it's
You
just,
guys are absolutely terrible, eh? Like, just,
Jake Allen's hurt too. Jake Allen's hurt too. That's the other one.
just horrible. Like, just nothing could go right. Oh man, wow.
Yeah, it's
Hey.
great. That's like the Subban stuff is, our silver lining. Cole Caulfield's got 25 goals. That's our little silver lining. Like,
Hey, I've been there as a Leafs fan where the
Yep.
team for sustained periods is just completely awful. I've been there. I've experienced it. I gotta say, I feel for you, man.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like the light at the end of your tunnel was Auston Matthews. The light at the end of our tunnel is Connor Bedard.
Maybe. And do you know who might be helping you out a little bit with that? The Florida Panthers.
They're so bad. It's so good.
Like, let's say you guys win the lottery with their pick.
Oh,
hold on. Hypothetically, you guys win the lottery with their pick. Is that the most lopsided trade in the history of the world in any sport?
Well, I mean,
Ben Sherratt. What? Wait.
I say it basically becomes
after trade deadline of Ben Sherratt for 1 season or 2. What did they get him for a year, or did they get him for?
No, he's in Detroit now. He's in Detroit now, so they got him for literally like 4 months.
For Connor Bedard.
If we win the lottery on the Florida Panthers pick, it might be the happiest day of my life. And also absolutely solidifies Gorton and Hughes as the greatest like management team of all time.
Could you imagine, man? Like, if I'm Bill Zito, if I'm the GM down in Florida and that happens and I don't even have Ben Sherratt anymore, like, at all. Not that Ben Sherratt is worth a first round or was worth a first round at the time. Let me be very clear. Ben Sherratt sucks. But he's a big idiot. I don't like that guy. Anyway.
I mean, that's another debate because I think he plays great playoff hockey, but
1-for-1. Bedard for Sherratt.
That's I don't even think it was 1-for-1. I think we got other shit from them too.
That is egregious.
So it's Sherratt. It's Sherratt for Bedard plus.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah. Yeah. Even if we don't get Bedard off theirs, it looks like we'll probably still get like a top 5 pick off of theirs, which is just great.
And you also have your pick. Like,
yeah,
unreal. Anyway, enough about that shitty Habs team.
All right. So do we want to stick to NHL and do refs, or do we want to do Women's Worlds quick? We're going to do both. Let's guess which way.
Let's do refs, then Women's Worlds.
Okay. So let's keep the NHL, because I did want to ask you when you were talking about the Leafs about the Allmark stick throw, because I saw that was kind of going around. I didn't think much of that. That looked more like he just flung himself and his stick went flying.
Yeah, it's still not allowed. Doesn't matter if he meant to do it or not. You cannot throw your stick.
Well, so I think the rule, the way the rule is worded, is you have to throw it at the opponent, and it really didn't go anywhere at any opponent. It just kind of flung into the corner.
It missed Mitch Marner by like this much, my dude. Like, Mitch Marner was this close to getting his head taken off by Linus Ullmark's stick. And I get it. I know he didn't intentionally throw it, but I don't care. Because you know what happens? Turnover, they go down and score.
Did they actually off that?
Off of that, yes. Yes.
I didn't know that. Oh, boy.
An egregious miscall. So, and honestly, when I said that I wanted to talk refs, I was not even talking about that one. Because there's actually, believe it or not, been more egregious miscalls in Leaf games over the past week. So, Michael Bunting, and you're probably going to disagree with me on this one, and it was a little bit of a flop. Almost on a clear-cut breakaway, gets taken down from behind, and he flopped. I'm not going to lie. But he was on a breakaway.
Oh, no, I've seen this one. Yeah.
It wasn't the worst. So that, I was already like, okay, like, sure. Not by the end of the period. Ben Sherratt literally tries to decapitate him Napoleon Bonaparte style.
Right.
Like French Revolution stuff.
I said in the group chat it was unintentional, but still a penalty. You can definitely tell that they both kind of fell, and there's definitely a cross check in the fucking head. But it wasn't an intentional one. But it absolutely is a penalty. Absolutely. That can't be going uncalled.
In the Nashville game, David Kampf killing a penalty. We were already on the penalty kill. And he is just taking up some space in the neutral zone. I don't even remember who laid the hit. And I don't even think this was intentional either. But shoulder to head is not allowed.
No.
It's never been allowed. Right? What's the ref think? That David Kampf just decided he was going to take a nap in the middle of a penalty kill? How the hell else do you think he got on the ice if you didn't see it? It was a headshot. There's no missing that. You have to call that. And actually, in that scenario, because it was a headshot, the linesmen are allowed to take charge and say, listen, man, you missed one. That was a headshot. You have to call that. And we were on the penalty kill. It's just, I don't know what, and even, like, there was a play, I think it was Holmberg, went into the boards at 1,000,000 miles an hour, tripped himself. That wasn't a penalty, but they call that. And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not biased. Like, I know what a penalty looks like, and I know what a penalty doesn't look like. When something is a penalty, I know what it is. I know that it is.
Yeah.
And they don't. Like, the referees, it's like everybody else gets to pick from, like, the New York police force or, like, the Army, like, all the other leagues, and then the NHL gets to go to the mall and select some mall cops to referee their hockey games. It's unreal to me.
Don't disrespect mall cops like that.
It's so frustrating.
Mall cops are good at their jobs.
Let's talk about this. What about the fact that Clayton Keller gets up and when they were playing Anaheim there, cross-checks a guy right in the mouth. Right in the mouth. $5,000 fine.
Auston
Yeah,
Matthews got 2
Clayton
games
Keller
for
cares
it.
about $5,000. Yeah, the game that I missed, remember?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Same thing. Yeah. What about Mikhail Sergachev sucker bombing Connor Garland right in the mouth while he wasn't looking? $5,000 fine, no call on the ice.
Literally,
are you kidding me?
All 4 officials are within fucking 10 feet of that, and not a single fucking one saw it.
It's embarrassing. It's actually, like, I actually find myself, if there is a football game on and a hockey game on, I might watch the football game because I don't want to deal with the refs. I actually want nothing to do with what they are watching. I don't get it. It's so bad. Like, the refereeing has been abysmal. And we've talked about it before, but it just keeps rearing its ugly head, man.
And I just want to go back to Keller and Sergachev.
Because, like, this is the professional now. Like, this is professional hockey. This is a National Hockey League here. This isn't Bush League, Beer League garbage. We need the best of the best. Anyway.
I guess with Keller and Sergachev, because they got fined, they're not considered repeat offenders. So literally,
Sergachev got fined 4 weeks ago for doing something egregious.
Exactly, but he's not considered a repeat offender because he's not been suspended because the NHL refuses to suspend him. Same with Clayton Keller. So that's saying, like, Sergachev has been fined twice in 4 weeks, not considered a repeat offender. If he were to do something suspension worthy, he would be considered like a first-time offender, no matter how many times he's been fined leading up to it.
Here's another thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I was reading up, I think it was actually, I was listening to Overdrive, and they were saying that Mikhail Sergachev actually went to the dressing room to apologize after the game to Clayton Keller. Oh, so that makes it good.
Connor Garland.
Or Connor Garland. Yes, you're right. Clayton Keller was the cross. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, my wires are a little bit crossed right now.
I can tell.
But you went to the dressing room to apologize for, like, I could see if it was a high stick and you caught him in the eye and you feel bad. That was a sucker punch. What are you apologizing for? You did it.
Like the Sherratt cross check to Bunting. If he went to the locker room, that's a hey. Yeah, like, my bad. But no,
I
you
lost
fucking
a little bit of
sucker
control of
punched
my stick. I'm sorry, dog. Like, you know,
like you sucker punched a guy.
What are you apologizing for? What is that? Why you only got the fine? Is that why he didn't get suspended? I just don't. I don't really know what And you're right, it's top down. Like, Department of Player Safety, refereeing, Gary Bettman, what are you watching? Like, seriously, I don't know, man. It's frustrating as all hell because it's the best league in the world. Like, there's no excuse for that. There's absolutely no excuse for how bad they. And do you know what? We've said it again. We've talked about it before, and this is the solution. I just want to talk to them after the game. I just want them to have to sit on a stand like players and coaches do and explain what the hell they were watching. That's all we need. That's it.
Like, I would love to have the 4 fucking officials from the Tampa Vancouver game sit there, show them the fucking Sergachev punch, be like,
What you see here?
You were all right here.
What the hell are you looking at? Yeah. Exactly. Like, why did you not call a penalty there? Is that not like what? Anyway. Yeah. And like I said, pardon?
Is your ref rant over? We're gonna bring it down here.
Just one more. I just have one more thing to say, and that is they're in no other league, because that's not calling that on Sergachev. That's a decision. That's a choice you make. You saw it. You know it's a penalty. You decided to not make the call. Name me one other league where refs do that. The NBA, they don't do that. The NFL, they don't do that.
I can tell you Premier League and MLS and soccer, they don't.
A foul's a foul. Doesn't matter what point of the game it is. Doesn't matter who did it, why, what you're thinking, what you had for breakfast that morning. Doesn't matter. Foul's a foul. Right?
And especially something as, like, egregious as that. Like, that's not like a hockey play, like, oh, was that a hook? Was it a stick lift? Like, no, it's a soccer punch, man. Like,
yeah, no, there's no getting around it. It's a finable offense, but no, it's not. You shouldn't call it on the ice.
Yeah.
And are they going to get disciplined for not calling that on the ice? Because they fucking should. I just, like I said, in every other league, like, you don't see that shit. In baseball, a strike is a strike. A ball is a ball. You don't get to decide. And it's even getting worse with the robot umps. But anyway, you're right. That we've had enough about this for today. I'm just gonna blow my top some more. So let's move on to the under-18 Women's Worlds, because that's been a hell of a tournament.
Unreal hockey being played there. So Canada and Sweden go for gold in about 25 minutes from time of recording here. Yep. Big comeback from Canada. Was it last night or the night before against Finland? I forgot now.
I believe it was the night before. I thought it was the night before. Yeah. Friday night.
So big OT win in the semis there. But, like, for me, the story of the tournament has got to be, and I'm going to butcher her name, and I apologize, Nela Lopusanova.
I think you actually got it.
The 14-year-old Slovakian who's been absolutely lighting it up this tournament.
Yeah, remember that name, because you're going to be hearing it for the next 25, 30 years. Like, seriously. Seriously. She's that good.
So this is the women's U18 Worlds. She's 14 years old, has 9 goals for 12 points in 5 games, and is involved in 71% of Slovakia's goals. Like, those are absurd numbers.
Yeah.
And like, baseline, those are absurd numbers. But the way she is scoring those goals, Ave.
More skill in her pinky finger than I have ever had to do anything. She scored a Michigan. She's batted one out of midair. She's gone tweener. She's danced every defender in the tournament. It's just amazing to watch, to be completely honest with you. It's unreal. Especially when you think about the fact that she's playing 3 years under age. Like, she's playing against 17-year-old girls here, and she's just making them look silly. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like just ridiculous in the best way possible. I love it so much.
And go ahead.
I'll say, if the NHL had half a brain, she's at All-Star Weekend.
You think?
Like, dead ass.
And hear me out here. I've never seen, I think the Finns, the Swedes have sometimes put together decent women's hockey teams, but to see somebody from a different country that's not the States or Canada have somebody of that skill level is great for the sport. Fantastic for the sport and the women's game as a whole. Like, really good stuff.
The last couple of years, Slovakia, both on the men's and women's side, have been really, really stepping it up, and it's great to see. I mean, we had two picks in a row top there last summer's draft, and Slavkovsky and Nemec. they had a great team at this tournament. Well, pushed Canada as far as they could have fucking pushed them. Like, I don't want to call them that they're going to be a superpower, but they've definitely taken that next step up in their development programs. Yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome stuff. So yeah, you said Canada plays Sweden?
Sweden at 2 p.m. Yeah.
All right, that'll be a good one. Also, before the end of the show, I know this is completely not hockey related, but I just wanted to give a shout out to the Seattle Seahawks. Hell of a season. Nobody expected anything out of the Seattle Seahawks, and they made the playoffs. And do you know what? They even gave San Fran a little bit of a run for their money. So I just wanted to shout out the Seattle Seahawks because they had a hell of a year, performed way above expectations, and I think they deserve it, even on a hockey show.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, they had a very, very good season, I would say. And I'm not a Seahawks fan. So
most people were saying if they win 4 games, that's great for them. Yeah, try 9. 9 wins. Over 500, baby. 9-8. Made the playoffs. Everybody wrote us off. Guess what? We ain't right back. We ain't right back. Gino still ain't right back. Anyway.
All right, what do the Leafs have coming up this week, Abe?
That is a good question. I actually don't know. Run down the Habs first, and I'll pull up Leafs.
Okay, so the Habs we're in New York to play the Rangers today at 5 p.m. We're back home to play the Jets on Tuesday at 7. The Panthers on Thursday, and then Saturday night, Abe, is the big one.
Saturday night Habs Leafs?
Saturday night Habs Leafs in Montreal.
Okay, we can make that happen. You think you're going to have to come over for that one?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So this week is Panthers in town on Tuesday, Jets in town Thursday, and then the Saturday game.
Score predictions?
Score predictions for the Saturday game?
Yep. I need score prediction and scores, at least for the Leafs. You don't have to talk about the half goal scores.
6-2. And I'm going to say William Nylander. Auston Matthews looks like he's kind of feeling himself a little bit. Like I said, I want him to get healthy, but if he can score a goal, that'd be cool. I'm going to go Pontus Holmberg as a shout. I'm going to go Morgan Riley, who doesn't have a goal yet this year. That's 4. I'm going to go Willie getting a second one, and Tavares. And that's going to be the 6.
I'm going to go 4-3 Habs win in overtime. Caulfield gets 2, including the OT winner. Anderson gets 1, and Kirby Dach gets 1.
Yeah, just pick the 2 guys. Well, honestly, it's not even 2. I just hate Josh Anderson.
I know you do.
I can't stand that guy. I just can't stand him.
But he always scores against the Leafs. Always.
I know. So does Caulfield. Well,
I mean, the Caulfield makes sense. He's got 25 goals this year. He's on pace for, I think, 49.5. Not quite 50. So, I mean, him scoring on everyone is kind of expected at this point.
Yeah, kid's got a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
Pretty good shot.
Anything else you need to get off your chest?
No, I think I let a lot off my chest today, specifically in that ref rant. So thank you for bearing with me through that, because I was getting pretty heated and wires were getting quite crossed. So
hey, no problem. Hey, you've sat through a bunch of mine, so it's the least I could do for you, bud.
Fair enough. And I've probably had the exact same rant before, to be completely honest with you. It's just, like I said, it keeps rearing its ugly head. It's horrible. It's terrible. Terrible.
We just want what's best for the league. That's all we want.
Yeah, and it's just communication. The refs need to communicate what they see after the game. That's it. That's the solution. That is actually the solution. Anyway, enough about that. I'm sure we'll have another ref rant before the end of the year, because the refs are still going to be terrible. So we'll talk about that again later. Anyway, thank you for listening to episode 80. Still kind of sounds crazy to say. Thank you to the Game Entertainment and Media for hosting us on their platform. And that's pretty much all I have to say for this week. It's been a long week in Leafsland, but kind of glad it's over, not going to lie. Anyway, thank you again, and we will talk to you for episode 81 next Sunday.